Welcome to the eighth lesson. In this, we will be talking about problem detection and resolution. I have divided this lesson into 5 sections. In the first section, we will be talking about understanding the problems. And then we will be studying how to detect problem and how to timely resolve issues or problems. In the fourth section, we will be discussing technical debt, causes of technical debt, and how to handle technical debt. And in the last section, we will be talking about risk management in agile projects. We will be talking about identification of risk, risk analysis, implicit risk management, explicit risk management. We will be covering risk-adjusted backlog, risk-related spikes, risk burn-down chart, risk burn-up chart, and in the end, we will be talking about some good practices about risk management in Agile. So the first section, let's talk about understanding problems or issues. So issues, what's the definition of an issue? Issue is a current condition or situation that may have an impact on the project objectives, or it's an action item that the project team must address. So an issue is a condition that has negative impact on project outcome. And if the team does not respond to these negative events, then it would be difficult to achieve project objectives. Issues could be relevant to various areas of the project. There could be quality-related issues. There could be communications-related issues, like miscommunication, half communication, any misunderstanding. There could be issues with regards to procurements. So problems could be relevant to procurement as well. For example, delayed deliveries. And one of the most important areas for issues and problems is scope. Unidentified scope, additional scope request during closure, during the later stages of the project could be impediments or issues. Issues could be relevant to risks. Issues could be relevant to scheduling, unrealistic schedules, not meeting the schedules, not meeting the deadlines. Issues could be relevant to cost as well, underestimation, overestimation, waste of resources. So these are issues with relevant to cost. And there could be issues with regards to variance as well. And variance could be about scheduling, costing, scope, and resourcing. So these are some of the areas about which project team can expect problems or issues. And we need to target all of these areas when we manage issues in a project. It is pertinent to mention that there is a difference between risk and issues. Normally, these two terminologies are used interchangeably. However, both are different from each other. So risk is a future event, issue is a present or past event. Risk is a future event and issue is a present or past event. The key difference in an issue is that it has already occurred, and a risk is a potential future event that may or may not happen and can impact the project positively or negatively. However, the impact of an issue is always negative. Risk is an event that has not happened yet. However, an issue is something that already has happened. The main difference are related to timing and probability. The probability of risk is less than 100%. It is uncertain. However, probability is not applicable to issues because an issue has already occurred. Because of these differences, the language used to describe risk is future tense. For example, if this happens, then this will be impacted. However, for issues, the language used is in present tense. For example, we have this problem. Now, how should we deal with it? Next, issues are recorded separately from risk in issue register. Issues are documented in issue register or issue log. In issue log, we track the issue owner, opening date of the issue, target date for closure, with whom the issue is pending, intermediate updates available on issue closure, criticality of the issues, and its impact. Normally, the issue register is called issue log because it denotes logging of something that already has happened. However, in the risk register, we include identified risks, probability of risks, impact of risk, relevant response strategy, and time frame for the risk event. It's also important to determine if issues occurred from an identified risk. If the source of an issue is tracked and known, project managers can determine the percentage of issues that were identified earlier at risk stage. For issues not identified as risks, project managers can analyze how they were missed in the first place and if they merit inclusions in the risk identification process. When a risk is materialized, we move it to the issue log, and the person who was assigned to the risk now works on the issue. So normally, whenever we identify a risk, we appoint a risk owner. So whenever a risk is occurred, it is moved from risk register to the issue log. And the person who was risk owner, now the person would call as issue owner. Another important difference between issues and risk is that issues typically do not need a mitigation plan, since most already at hand and need to be acted upon immediately. But if an issue is not impacting any of the project attributes for now, but could be in the future, a mitigation plan is a possibility. So in order to manage risks, we develop mitigation plan. However, in order to handle issues, we define workarounds. So these are different terminologies used for risks and issues. So there is no such thing as mitigating an issue. Rather, issues are resolved. Mitigation plans are all about reducing the impact or probability of a risk event. For issues, we need an action plan that has an action item listed in priority. For example, consider when someone leaves the project team, this is an issue. Since the event has happened already, the list of action items could include hiring someone quickly, hiring someone on contract, delaying the project or outsourcing the project. These action items are discussed and action is initiated right away. Issues recorded in the issues register should be discussed almost every day. However, risk recorded in the risk register should be reviewed periodically, weekly or less frequently during status review meetings. So if I summarize our discussion with regards to the differences between risks and issues, so risks are future events. They are uncertain. Impact of risk could be positive as well as negative. Risks are documented in risk register. And we define mitigation plans to manage risks. However, when it comes to issues management, issues are not future events. They are either present or past events, means the events which have had already occurred. Next, they are always negative in terms of their impact on the project outcome. We document them in issue log, and the person responsible to manage issues is called issue owner. And we plan a workaround in order to respond to issues. And remember one important thing, whenever an issue is occurred, we move it from risk register to issue log. And the person who is responsible for risk management, that is called risk owner, would now be called as issue owner. So that's the difference between these two terminologies, risks and issues. However, these terminologies are incorrectly used interchangeably. We should be mindful of differences between these two terminologies for exam perspective, because responses or answers to questions would vary depending upon the terminology used in the question.